You will never write poor performing ad copy ever again. In this video, I'll show you exactly how I write high performing meta ad copy using AI effortlessly so that you can stop staring at a blank screen and only launch winners from now until the end of time. What's up, everybody? I'm Ben Salka. I quit an $80,000 a year corporate job to build my AI and advertising business and make this content free for you. I've helped brands grow into the multi-millions with AI-driven advertising, and I'm gonna help you learn to do the same. And I make these videos to help you learn more, become more valuable, and get more out of life. We will keep it simple and step by step as per usual. I'm going to show you how you can build a custom AI tool that writes all your best performing meta ad copy from now until the end of time. So please hit the like button, or an AI agent is going to send an embarrassing photo of you from the Christmas party to your entire company.
Maybe it's an embarrassing snapshot of me from the Christmas party.
Jumping into Gemini, we are going to build this in Gemini, but I'll show you how to do the same thing in ChatGPT or Claude if you use either of those other tools. The reason that I like to use Google Suite and use Gemini for this specifically is because you are going to put a brand brief into this gem that you build, which is basically a context document. And if you need to update that context document, you can do that in Docs, and then the gem will automatically update dynamically. When you're building a custom GPT on ChatGPT or a project in Claude, anything that's put into that is a static file that either lives on your computer or you have like a PDF or a docx or whatever it is, and you'll have to manually update that and then re-upload that into the GPT if you ever want to make changes to the brand brief or to any context that you're putting into it. So that's why I use Gemini for this, and I highly recommend doing so, but I'll show you how to do it with the other ones. So the first thing you need to do, you're going to navigate over here to gems, click on gems. We're just going to click create new gem over here. For the name, you'll just name this like meta copywriter, and then I'm going to show you a fictitious brand called Everwell Sleep Co. So that's what I'll name it. So just meta copywriter, and then your brand. You don't have to necessarily put it in a description, but just like writes meta copy for X brand. So for the instructions, this is the first thing I'm going to show you. I put together this template for you on how to build these instructions where you'll input all your brand details. If you're already using an LLM that has tons of context about your brand and what you're trying to accomplish, your tone, your voice, etc., you could always take this and upload it into whatever tool you use and have it answer these questions for you or fill out these brackets for you. But if you go through this manually, you'll update all this information. And then once all this information is updated, you'll have something that looks a little bit like this. So you'll have this updated custom instructions, and you'll take those instructions after you've answered all it and inputted all your information, and you will just copy all of them, and you're going to paste it into instructions on the back end. And that's the first thing that you're going to do to get you on your way to $1 million meta copy. Context is everything. So the next thing I want you to do is build a brand knowledge base, or what I call a brand brief. So this is an example of what a brand brief might look like for this fictitious company, which is Everwell Sleep Co. And these are the questions that you're going to need to answer to be able to fill this out. What you can do, like I said, if you already use AI tools, and if you're watching this video, you probably are AI native, and you might already use Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini. I linked this prompt here that you could use to extract all this information from your existing LLM that you use if you don't want to go through and fill all these out manually. I know that this is a little bit of a heavy lift. It takes a little bit of time, but I promise you, you will not have to worry about writing meta ad copy on your own and worrying about if it's off brand and if you need to review it 500 times before pushing it live. Putting in this pre-work will make sure that it's good moving forward to get to those $1 million plus ads. So these are the questions that you're going to want to fill out. Like I said, this is what the final product looks like. Inside of the gem, once you fill that out, if it's in Docs or if you have a Microsoft Word document, you're going to go down here to knowledge and you're going to add files. I always prefer adding from Drive because, like I said, Drive files are dynamic. So when you update them, the gem will automatically update too. So I'm going to go to my Drive and I'm just going to find that file. So we have the brand brief here for Everwell Sleep Co. I'm just going to insert that. So basically what this knowledge is, the gem, when going through the copywriting process, can use this context and these contents of this file to inform the copy that it writes to make sure it's within your brand guardrails. So that's the next step. So to be able to put together a brand brief that looks like this in this finalized version, I also created a custom gem that I linked right here to this brand brief creator. When you finish answering all these questions and you have the entire list of everything filled out, you'll literally just be able to copy all of these and then paste them inside of this brand brief creator. And then this will synthesize all that data and put it into a format that looks just like this. And then you'll just copy that output put it into a Google Doc, and then that's the Google Doc that you'll put into the back end of your gem that you created. So all these resources are linked in the description below, but something else you can do to give this gem additional context is if you've already been running meta ads and you've already scaled an account, you're spending a lot of money, take the top performing copy from a click-through rate perspective, from a conversion rate perspective, and put that into a Google Doc or a Google Sheet. So what I have here, this is not for Everwell Sleep Co., but for an example brand, is copy. Tons of it. There's different tabs for different types of copy, for different hero SKUs and different products, different use cases, etc. Put together a copy document like this that outlines your primary text, your headline, your descriptions, and then you could also add that as knowledge. So if I went in here, I'd be able to find that same ad copy file somewhere in here. Yep, it's right here. And I could insert that. I'm not going to because this is for a different brand. But you could insert that copy example file, and then this would be trained on copy that's already winning inside of your account. So that's something else I want you to do. If you don't have any winning copy yet inside of a meta ads account, head over to the meta ad library and just see what your competitors are doing, and then copy and paste that copy into a document or into a Google Sheet, and you can kind of accomplish something similar. So let's say we're selling, let's say we're like Liquid IV or something. Our competitor is Drink LMNT. So Drink LMNT, they're obviously running a metric crap ton of ads. Honestly, not as many as I thought, but a pretty decent amount. You can see when these ads started running. I can see which ads they've been running for the longest period of time. So I see January 7th, that's like what, almost 4 months ago. So this tells me that whatever angle is inside of this ad itself, as well as the copy, is probably performing pretty well for them. So that's something that I always want to take into consideration, is what are competitors doing? And if you don't have any copy currently, that's something that you can do to kind of cut the line a little bit and get to a head start if you're a new brand that's trying to use this to your advantage. All right, this gem is built out. I'm going to save it and let's test it. You can also test it on the side here in preview mode as well, but I'm just going to create it. So we're going to start this chat. Now that it's been created, I'm just going to enter a prompt into here. I have it over here. I'm going to copy and paste it. So write meta copy for Everwell Sleep Co.'s new deep sleep discount promotion that's running from now until the end of May. And what it's going to do, it's going to ask me that list of intake questions that are inside of those custom instructions. So what product or offer is this for? Provide the URL, who's this ad targeting, what's happening in the video, etc. So I have something else I'm going to copy and paste in here just for the sake of this video. Product is the Everwell Sleep Serum. Here's an example URL. Here's who we're targeting. Here's a visual. So if you already have a specific creative or a specific campaign or angle that you want to create content for, that's what you put in the visual. It could be like an amalgamation of ads that follow a specific angle. You don't necessarily have to put in a specific visual here. But there's the offer, and then we want this to be high urgency because the sale ends relatively soon and we're limited on stock, let's say. And something else I'd recommend doing, I didn't do it, but I would recommend updating this to thinking instead of fast, because fast is going to be fast. But here are some examples here. Your evening ritual sets the tone for your entire day. Stir in our magnesium drink mix for a calmer mind and body. Shop the deep sleep discount for 25% off until May 31st. Quiet the mental noise before you head to bed. Everwell Sleep Powder helps you transition into a restful night. Take 25% off site-wide through the end of May. So you could go through these variations and you could give an example prompt of how you might want to potentially iterate on it. So it's really important to analyze the results, make sure that they're on brand. It eliminates the need to come up with new copy ideas, but you still will have to apply your human expertise to make sure that this is actually on brand and it actually makes sense for your specific business. So I'm going to put an example like iterative prompt here. So I'm going to say keep the same product in funnel stage. For variation 1, make the hook more identity driven and pull it back to about 20 characters. Everything else stays the same. And you can see it also gave headline examples, description examples, and CTA examples here too. Save 25% off your nightly ritual, better sleep starts with 25% off, etc. And you can customize this tool in whatever way you want. Let's say you want to use title case instead of sentence case. You could say, Gemini, I want you to resend me those headlines, but make them all title case instead of sentence case. Like that's something that I would do. Or can you space out the variations so the headline, the body copy, and the call to action are in separate lines, so there's like a space in between them so it looks a little bit more natural. Those are all different things that you could do to make this more effective. I want you to really customize this and make it your own, but I want to give you the shell of what you can use for free to make these $1 million ads. So you can see it created a new variation on number 1 after I said to keep the same product in funnel stage, make the hook more identity driven, and pull it back 20 characters. So it made it smaller and it tied it to the identity of high performers. So if someone identifies as a high performer, that might resonate with them a little bit more. But that's exactly how you'd use this tool. And you can see it works exactly how we trained it to work. It gives us primary text, headlines, descriptions, and CTA recommendations. If you want more than 5 variations, just tell it to give you more than 5 variations. It's customizable in any way you want it to be, but now it's on brand, it's direct response, and a guaranteed $1 million. When you build this in ChatGPT, it operates the exact same way. So I'm going to jump into ChatGPT here. Under more, you're just going to find GPTs. Under GPTs, this is literally the same thing as a gem. You're just going to create a new GPT, and it's basically the same structure. So you'll name it the same way you did in Gemini, give it a description. Those instructions will be what we updated and pasted in here. And then the knowledge will be that brand brief that you created. But like I said, when you upload a file, it has to be from your computer, so it's not really dynamic. So you'll have to download that. If you created it in a Google Doc, you'll download that to your device, find it in here and upload it to the backend and the knowledge, and then test it and use it the same exact way. But it's very similar. It's the same exact setup basically for both gems and for GPTs. Now I'm going to show you how to build this as a skill really quickly in Claude. Okay, I'm inside of Claude desktop here. You can do this inside of Claude.ai just on the web-based version as well. But what you're going to do is navigate to projects. Inside of projects, what I'll do is just create a new project, somewhat similar to a gem or a GPT. I'm just going to name this Meta Copywriter and then Everwell Sleep Co. Just like we had to do before, make sure you have filled out those the brand brief and the instructions as well. So I'm just going to paste in a prompt in Claude that's going to create a skill. And the skill that I'm going to create is going to be created using the skill creator skill. So that's why I put this in here, and this prompt is also linked in a sheet in the description below. So it's going to take a little bit to build this skill, and it's going to ask me for both the brand brief and the custom instructions. So it's asking me for the completed brand brief as well as the custom copywriting instructions. So what's cool about Claude is that you can connect it to Google Drive, so I can paste in the links to these so that I can find it. But it's going to extract the language and the verbiage from those documents, and it won't live inside of this project dynamically. It's going to live as a static file. So once Claude creates this new skill for us, you're going to review the skill for accuracy and then select save skill. So once it comes up with the skill it wants to create, there's going to be something that pops up on the right sidebar here that shows you everything that's baked into the back end of the skill so that you can confirm whether it follows what you're trying to accomplish. Excellent. So let's take a look at what it came back with here. So it created this skill. That skill is called Everwell-copy. So what I want you to do is save this skill so that you can call on it in the future. But what's baked into the skill.md file, which is basically just what the LLM references when it's calling on this skill, is all of this information. So all this information is taken directly from the brand brief that you uploaded as well as the instructions. So it has all that information in here. Just review this to make sure it's accurate. And I already have this saved because I was toying with this before the video, before I actually started filming. But inside of any chat in Claude now, if you want to write copy for Everwell or for whatever your brand is, you're just going to type / and then type in Everwell-copy, and then you'll just be able to enter that. It'll ask you the list of intake questions, and then you can do this inside of any chat. So that's why a skill is really cool. But one of the limitations, like I said, just like for ChatGPT, is it is static and it's not dynamic, which is why I initially built this on Gemini. But that's how you can do this in either Gemini, ChatGPT, or Claude. So that should cover like 99% of everybody, I hope. So I really hope this was helpful for you. And all the resources, like I said, are linked and labeled in the description below. I really hope that you got a lot out of this video. And like I said, this is the exact system that I've used to write high converting ad copy for multi-million-dollar brands for over 3 years now. And I want you to have it all for free. So implement this into your existing workflows in your system and watch your meta ads results start to skyrocket. If you liked this video, you are going to love my video on Claude for marketers. This shows you how to use the fastest growing LLM, which is Claude, to help you turn into a $1 million marketer. And if you're part of the intersection of advertising and AI and want to keep up with this stuff, I would be so blessed if you could subscribe. And after you do that, go have an amazing day and get after it.